here to present this paper, which is Management of Code Reviewer Recommendation Using Optimization Algorithm, MSGA3. I'm serving as Associate Professor at the National University of Sciences and Technology, Pakistan. So this paper has been written by one of my master's students, so it is from his master's research work, so I'll be presenting on his behalf basically. This is the agenda of this presentation: introduction, motivation, review of literature, then the methodology that has been proposed in this paper, then results and analysis, and finally the presentation would be concluded by the conclusion and the conclusive remarks. So this is the introduction, some concepts which have been used in this paper. A software code review basically is an integral part of software development where, and it's a static quality assurance method where when a programmer has written some code, one of the colleagues or one of the programmers, he can just review his written code to look for certain types of errors, anomalies, and problems. So basically, it's role of a reviewer to review the code written by his peer programmer. And some of the software development lifecycle models, they have this review as an integral part. For example, if you see the extreme programming, which is a very famous model presented by Ken Beck, and I believe which was the first agile software development lifecycle model, there an excellent programming principle that was proposed was pair programming, which was a forced review at the same time when one is writing the code. So it's very important to review the code written by someone else. So basically, traditionally, the reviewer who's supposed to review one's code was manually selected, and that's a very challenging process, as mentioned in the reference that I have given over there. So we have to move towards modern code review recommendation methods, which are more collaborative, quicker, and more automated things have been added to improve this code review process. And in this modern code review, the recommendations are based on different credentials, which are these are the recommendations for about a reviewer, that who should be reviewing someone's code. And these are basically based on different credentials or criteria. For example, the availability of reviewers, their expertise, and their workload. So to solve this particular problem, this problem has been framed as an optimization problem because we have to find a best balance between different criteria. So it's modeled as a multi-objective optimization. And the purpose of multi-objective optimization is to find the trade-off between different competing objectives or credentials. So the credentials that have been used, that we can use as objectives, are the profile of a specific reviewer, the experience of a reviewer, workload, expertise, and commitment status, etc. And these optimization algorithms, they can be divided into three main categories. There can be a single objective that considers just one credential or objective as a criterion, or we can have multi-objective, which considers two or three criteria, and then we also can have many objective optimization methods which consider more than three criteria as an input. So the motivation behind this work is to recommend the right reviewers for the code review process more quickly and accurately to save time and resources. So this was the motivation behind this research work. So in order to find the gap, we carried out a literature review, and these were some of the works which fit into our review protocol, and they are: the first method was published in 2021, a tool was proposed with name Good Review, an algorithm IBEA was used, 4 open source projects were used as a data set, and 2 objective functions, 2 objectives were considered. The precision they have reported is 68%, and recall of 77%. The The second paper is from 2015 with an accuracy of 79%. Third was published in 2013. Another was published in 2016 with a reported precision of 59 and a recall of 74%. And the paper that we have considered as a benchmark, as a base paper, that was published in 2020. And the data sets that were used in that paper were 9 open source projects. And the algorithm which was used was NSGA2. The precision that was reported is 72% with a recall of 81%. So with this, the gap that we identified was that there is another variant of this algorithm, NSGA, named NSGA3. So we decided why not to put in this algorithm and to try if we can improve the precision and the recall. So this methodology was proposed, and this is the framework that has been proposed for this particular purpose, and it is basically based on the data collection portion, the pre-processing portion, and the actual framework, and then some output is generated out of this particular framework. So I'll be going through all of these stages one by one. So the first step is to collect the data and to pre-process that data. So the data that is taken is basically the project's data in terms of its previous pull requests. Pull means that when someone pulls some project to review that. Then some pre-processing was applied, which consists of conversion of .SQL and .json files into .csv files for fast processing. Then the data was converted in timestamp data, and the data was normalized, applying min-max scaling and removal of the unwanted columns. This data is available and is shared over here. The link is given. So these 3 projects, they were taken in order to perform the experimentation and to evaluate the performance of NSGA3 algorithm. So they were LibreOffice and Qt and OpenStack. So they were also used by the paper that we have set as the base paper, and we chose just 3 of the used data sets, and the reason was that only these 3 they were available. So this is the code review recommendation framework, which is the second main part of the proposed methodology. So first of all, the data is extracted, and after data has been extracted, a reviewer expertise matrix is produced, then reviewer developer collaboration matrix is produced, then reviewer availability. These 3 things are taken, and optimization algorithm, which is NSGA3 that we have selected, that is applied, and based upon a certain fitness function. So in the data extraction, as I already told, that the first thing that is done is the reviewer expertise matrix. It basically represents the expertise of the reviewer based on his previous commits that have been reviewed by that particular reviewer. So the number of times a reviewer is familiar with the same type of file, so that is counted towards his expertise. So it's taken as something which has to be maximized. And the second thing that is taken during the data extraction is the reviewer and the developer collaboration. So the collaboration matrix is basically produced, which is for the times when both collaborated on the same file. So how many times a particular reviewer has collaborated with a particular programmer, that how many files of a programmer have been previously reviewed by that reviewer. And finally, the availability matrix, that at that point of time, a particular reviewer, how many of the tasks are assigned to that particular reviewer. So these things are taken. Then a fitness function is prepared, which basically is based on these 3 criteria. The first is the expertise. So we will try to, the fitness function or the algorithm basically tries to maximize this thing. The availability is basically the inverse of approximated weight until reviewers from their workload become available. So we also try to maximize this function. And finally, we have the collaboration, which is basically how many times a particular reviewer has previously reviewed a code written by a certain programmer. So this thing has to be reduced, minimized, in order to basically avoid the human biasness. So this is something about the NSGA3 algorithm. It's a variant of a genetic algorithm. It works well with 3 to 15 objectives. It do not use any explicit parameters, and a reference mechanism is used to maintain diversity. It prefers feasible over infeasible and less violating over non-violating individuals. Python language has been used for the implementation using the PyMo library, in which this algorithm was already available. So the genetic operator values, set values are passed to the algorithm. So 6 times experiments were applied. So 6 times for the algorithm was run on the 3 set data sets, and these are the different attributes which were set to run the experiment. For example, experiment number, population size, selection of operator, crossover operator, probability, mutation operator, mutation rate, and the number of generations which were produced. So the results taken from the experiments, they have been analyzed using these standard parameters, which are precision, recall, and the average accuracy, which is, precision is basically the true positive divided by true positives plus false positives. Recall is basically true positives divided by the true positives plus false negatives, and the average accuracy, which is basically sum of all of the accuracies taken from all of the experiments divided by the number of experiments. So this is the result that has been produced considering precision as the evaluation parameter, and you can see the bold-faced values are basically representing the experiments where the NSGA3 has outperformed the existing state-of-the-art and all of the other existing algorithms. Similarly, in the Qt and in the OpenStack. So these are the results which have been taken considering the recall as the evaluation parameter. Similarly, the bold-faced values over here, they are representing the performance where NSGA3 has outperformed. This is the average accuracy. So here it can also be seen that this variant of a genetic algorithm has outperformed on all of the 3 taken data sets. So finally, this is the conclusion. As you can see, that results accurately recommend the code reviewers with the precision up to 80% and 86% of recall and 84% of average accuracy by improving the state of the art. So this is the end of my presentation, and I'm open for questions. Thank you.